Like home.
Feels like home.
Feels like home.
This is a pretty good home.
Yeah, this is an awesome home.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's surreal. I think the fact that we get to be here and celebrate this and celebrate with Cressida and Dean, who are like the OGs of this franchise, is it's amazing. It's been a real privilege.
I mean, just as a fan, like seeing Toothless, Hiccup, and Astrid and Stormfly, it's so surreal, and it really just, it's a dream come true seeing them, you know, and seeing Berk. It's awesome. It's great.
Amazing. I mean, the idea that I could be to some little kid what Astrid was to me as a child is mind-boggling. I mean, she's such a badass, and I feel really, really privileged that I get to be in her shoes, and it's just, yeah, it's a really, really amazing feeling, and I'm very lucky to be here.
Stole the show.
Watching the OG
it's
animated
insane.
one now that we've also watched with Jerry, and we've heard him say those lines to us, there's something about it that is just crazy.
I mean, not a day goes by where I'm not like, holy crap, that's Stoick.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he would come on set and we would all just kind of, I remember the first time he came on set, me and Mason literally were like, Jerry. We were freaking out. It's like, it's Stoick. It's how could you not? He's wonderful. We're obsessed with Dean. I will speak for both of us. We're
obsessed. Human being of all time.
He is, he's magical.
There's just something about Dean. Like, every time I see him, I want to hug him. Like, oh, personal space. Like, I'll give him a second.
We just love him so much, and he was, I think, getting to watch him in that space and experience it, and so much of it is, you know, he said to me, he was looking at one of the dragons and he was like, it's so funny that this is now a toy because I drew this, and there's something about that that's just so crazy. He's so wonderful, and he deserves all of it and more, and to get to be here and celebrate with him and with you, who's just killing it all the time, is it's amazing.
Once you get here and you feel the magic, it puts you straight into the movies, and it's something you can't really explain until you see it in person. I'm very excited.
I'm excited. I'm a bit nervous.
Nervous as well.
A little bit nervous. I'm excited for everyone to see Mason. He absolutely killed it. So I'm excited for everyone to get to.
High praise coming from it.
That one crazy.
Everything.
The one crazy.
Oh yeah, the one Adam.
There's one that our producer Adams.
You know, it's really a special moment. I think. When I think back 15 years to having a conversation with Dean, or I got a call, would you want to play this character, his voice? And it was one movie, which became 2 movies, which became 3 movies, a live action, and now we're opening a theme park. So that's kind of a beautiful moment in time for all of us. You know, it just shows, I think, that this movie has very much become part of the culture, and very beloved, and that feels great. I think there's something about this, you know, wish fulfillment. We all live in this fantasy where you kind of have a best friend, maybe from another realm, or us living in another realm. And I think the messages in the movie, one, it's an incredibly entertaining story of Vikings and dragons. It's funny, it's heartfelt, and I think there's really clever messaging in there that's super positive, that's teaching us about growth and personal discovery and standing up for one's identity, you know, and there's just so many themes. Like, you watch the movie, you're enthralled, you're entertained, and you come out and kind of want to be a better person. For me, it was a bit, I think for Dean too, you know, it's a little bit surreal because it takes me back to when he was drawing. You know, he was making drawings and I was just doing a voice, and now it's a bloody theme park, which is not just a theme park, it's an incredible, it's so richly detailed and just kind of enjoyable to look at and experience, from the rides to, you know, just the dragons they've created and the water park. You're kind of walking around going, this is us. This is our thing. Like a couple of days ago, I had friends saying, hey, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, I'm just going to open my theme park, and I'll say it's mine. It's not mine at all, but I'll say it's mine. It's not something you see every day from a little boy from Glasgow in Scotland, you know? So I'm enjoying the ride. That was fun. You know, it's a super cool roller coaster, although I hear there's an even better one. Adam Siegel, our producer, came up to me. He's like a little kid. He comes up and says, by the way, I've just been on the best ride I've ever been on in my life. And I'm about to go and do a bunch of interviews, so I'm like, what? He said, do you want to go now? I think, Adam, I got to go and do interviews right now. He said, oh, okay, well, let's go later. I'm like, I feel like he should be the actor and I should be the producer. I'm like more like the responsible one. But no, the park is incredible. I cannot wait. It feels so cool. Firstly, to have made this movie, and you know, and Dean is such a genius. It was amazing to carry on our relationship, and then to take that and know that we're about to share it with the world. But then we're going to share this park with the world. I just know people are going to have an amazing experience here, whatever age they are.
The Isle of Berk is a real place. We'll be dropped off by a local boatman and picked up again 2 weeks later. And there is nothing on the island, no houses, nothing.
Really?
Really. An island so small that when you stand on the top of it, you can see sea all around you, like the Isle of Berk. I used to go around the island looking for dragons, and I'd climb into the caves looking for dragons. And then to have this, tell the story, and then it to be, I love the movies, absolutely love those movies. And then to actually, and I think as a child it was always the idea of flying on the back of a dragon or owning a dragon, and then to come here to the theme park where you really can meet Toothless and meet Hiccup. And I know, because it's been around for 20 years now, those characters really mean a lot to me. I think it is because when you put something of yourself into something, it was my relationship with my father, really, that's what it was. And I think, and I put I had struggled a little bit growing up, you know, with my peers and things like that. And when you put something true into that, and then the way the movie was told by Dean and Gerard and everybody, it resonates. They put true things into it. It resonates with other people, and I get that a lot. I get, you know, kids coming up and saying, "I went through a hard time at school, and Hiccup was my only friend." And yeah, they really, those characters mean something. It's absolutely phenomenal. I think it takes the animated movie and just steps it up that level, because it's real human beings. You really feel the emotion of Hiccup's relationship with his father and with the dragon. I mean, for me, it just upped the intensity of everything. And I think because Dean, the director, directed the animated movies as well, it's got all of the things that people loved about the original. That's always the danger, isn't it, when somebody loved an original? But I think, personally, it just ups it. I cry when Gerard says, "You are not my son." Oh my God. I was in flood. And I think that's one of the things is that, personally, that I find very moving is that I know, I can see that is going to give so much joy to so many children and so many families. And you just think, I mean, it is really just quite humbling to think that that's started from something that I might have, I mean, it's really amazing. There's so many different favourite moments. I loved meeting Hiccup and Toothless, because Toothless does feel very alive. I love that connection for me, but this is very personal. In the waiting line, this is an example of the detail. Like, in the waiting line, there's a sort of shady bit, and Hiccup's creation desk. His desk where he creates his inventions, because he's a different kind of a hero. He's a hero who, you know, solves things through his smarts rather than punching them. And his creative writing desk, all lovingly recreated. I love that. But there's so much, you know, the mead hall, the kind of, I haven't even seen the flying. I haven't seen the flying dragons yet. But, you know, the wing gliders, I mean, there's so much. You could spend a couple of days. I feel like, you know, everybody's given me a gift.
It's positively thrilling. As someone who lived in Berk while we were making the movie, to come to a whole other version of Berk is tremendously exciting and thrilling and immersive. It's very cool because they had the same challenge that the movie makers had, right? They had to breathe in an animated film and breathe out a world that you could touch and live in. And though we were on separate tracks, we made a lot of the same decisions, and the two things really do feel like they talk to each other in a beautiful way. I think Toothless is a combination of your favorite pet and a motorcycle. You know, and these are like, you know, if you're a young kid, what do you want to do? You want to be loved and go fast. And so the connection between Hiccup and Toothless is so timeless and so special, and it happens without words, so you can feel it as opposed to think about it. I think that's a big part of it. And it's a father-son story, and it's about seeing the world a different way. Different groups of people, changing minds, coming together. I think it's an old story in that way that's relevant for our current times. It's incredibly hard to put into words when you walk into a world that you know so well, done so beautifully. And in a movie, right, we watch it on the screen, but here you can touch it, you can taste it. The thought went into the food, to the design of the menu, you know, to actually, and to then watch everyday people get to walk up and touch Toothless and feel that connection. I mean, you have to have a heart of stone not to feel that. Watching our actors step into another world of Berk, they stopped being actors and they became kids again. It's so much easier to shock an audience as it is to enchant one. And going into the land was truly enchanting, and watch the enchantment play over all their faces. Nico's, Mason's, Gerard Butler's, and Dean. I mean, that was its own reward. Stardust coasters are incredible. They go so fast. But yes, I'm partial to the Isle of Berk. You can't beat Epic Universe, guys. The Hiccup sliders are amazing. Now, the secret is, as you're going up, if you pull hard, you can pull that barrel roll. I want to know who gets it done.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's great to be here with the cast and all these familiar, happy faces. Getting to walk in here. It's the first time seeing this portal. So walking through, it's quite the presentation. It's surreal. For me, it's surreal because I was there when all of that concept art was created, and it's very faithfully reproduced. And so when you're standing in the Isle of Berk, everywhere you look, like you are in that world. You don't see the other worlds sort of peeking into your view. And so it just plants you in that space, and every detail. I mean, the manhole covers, like the placards on the restrooms, everything is themed. And so they didn't miss a detail. It's really, really well done. I just loved stopping and seeing all of the different, like the way they arranged the perspective. So you'd have like the distant mountain and all the silhouettes of the buildings. Like it's art directed from every angle. And so you're constantly rounding a corner, and you just get so much more than you're anticipating. And the place is so much bigger than it seems. And so you could spend an entire day in there just kind of wandering around and taking in all of the details. If you're looking down or up or around, there's always really interesting details, whether it's a dragon hanging out of a house or just all of the mechanics of how everything works. It's beautiful. Well, I think from the start, when we started designing the world of Berk for the first animated movie, we wanted it to be a place that you would want to visit. And so it's harrowing, and it's exotic, and it's rough, and it's subject to really, testy weather. But the place itself is meant to be, it's to draw you in, and plays to wish fulfillment, like the type of place that dragons would hang out in. I think for me, having the cast here makes it especially amazing because we've been talking about this moment. We'll get to promote this movie together, and we'll do it with pride. From the start, we were determined to make a movie that we could all feel very, very proud of at the end, and to be able to take our friends and our loved ones, and to have a theme park open almost in support of the movie, or we're in support of the theme park, whichever you pick. It's the synergy of that is incredible, because people are going to come to the park, they're going to want to know more about the stories, or they might have seen the films and I got to go see the park, and nothing disappoints. It's really amplified and wonderful, and having the cast be part of it and share it together on our press tour is fantastic. It's a real treat. It's fun to return to Orlando as well, because this is where we made Mulan for Disney, we made Lilo and Stitch for Disney, and so I spent 5 years of my life, in this environment, living around these theme parks and being subject to this weather. So I do have really fond memories of being here.
It's very hard to believe that 2 years ago, a couple of drawings that they sent, that people took those drawings and built that. It's incredible. You don't have any understanding of the scale or the complexity of how they did it, but it's here and it exists. And the first day I arrived at 1 in the morning, and I just saw over the park and the lights were being tested and stuff like that. That was actually very emotional, because I realised how large this was. Yeah. I'm lucky to work on these great films, but I've never worked on anything quite as big as this. We talked a lot about what everybody's, what the audience's experience is when the story is happening on film. It was the same for this. It's what's the audience, what were the visitors' experience as they travel from area to area? And the park designers, they wanted very different moods in different sections, and calmness here and excitement there, and a little bit of drama, but that's mainly on the the rides and things. So we actually had to come up with there's a lot of drama in the original music, so we couldn't use that, so I had to kind of do new versions of things that were going to be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more enjoyable. So we did a whole bunch of stuff for the pub, basically. First time I've ever written pub music. I spent a lot of time in them, so I should know how to do it, but we got to take all the tunes, and I got this great sort of folk band, and we just kind of jammed all on the tunes for a couple of days. It was great. It was one of the most fun musical things I've done in a while. That was the thing about Test Drive. It was one of the first things I ever wrote, and it was just trying to prove. It was a proof of concept is like, how do you make music that sounds like what we all want to do, which is fly? I mean, that's one of the joys of the film, is this idea that you can have a friend who you can fly with, who will help you fly. So that's where those very initial sort of experiments, and I had like half of that cue. I didn't even have the second half of the tune. I just had the beginning of it. And I remember early on, I just played it for everybody, Dean and everybody, and I just kind of pressed play really loud with all the guitars and shit and the drums and everything else like that. I said, does this feel like flying? And I turned around, they looked like they'd been on a roller coaster. Can't say that to me because it's like I'm trying to work as well. I mean, like, I'm supposed to be working on Wicked 2 at the moment. That's all about culture. It's like it's very hard to create if you think too much like that. There's too much weight on you. You just try and concentrate. Is this good? If it can be, can I make it better today? Can I make it better by next week? Can I make it better by the time the film comes out? That's really all you got to worry about. It's like if you worry about anything else, you're done for.